remiss if I didn't have a few things to say about Nelson Mandela, because Nelson Mandela and the issues in South Africa certainly shaped my life back in the 80s, because I was very much a part of this anti-apartheid piece and getting people to getting corporations and institutions to divest back in the 80s. I even had to go look up the word divest because I didn't even know what it meant when I first heard it. So, but the piece here, I'm sure you all read it down. What's in red is really what's really important. You playing small doesn't serve the world. And I think a lot of people play what I call small ball, which they try to play under the radar. They don't want their light to shine. They don't want to develop themselves. They don't want to be in the spotlight, because once you develop yourself, you're going to be in the spotlight, because leadership is a spotlight position, okay? So this is a very, very important point, because I see developing, sometimes people think your light shine, particularly in the Christian community, the light shining is that your talents and abilities, you just have them, and you don't want the world to see. But I think when you don't develop yourself, that's also keeping your light from being bright and shining. So, so anybody have anything to say about his legacy? Anybody want to comment on kind of open it up for a moment?
Just
Yes.
one word. Man has tremendous character, and to be able to spend a third of your life incarcerated and come out and be able to forgive the people who put you there incarcerated, and then to rise to the level of the president of the whole nation is huge, huge.
Definitely. So to me, Nelson Mandela his legacy is one in which being committed to the larger good. Because I'm sure in many instances in his life he could say, hey, later for this, I'm just going to go take care of me and my family, and you all can go do what y'all need to do. And all great people probably have those moments when they can go another direction. And this brother right here, he definitely inspired me to be committed. Because people asking me, why are you constantly doing what you're doing? It's not, to me, it's this part of my life. It's like people that play golf or bowl or watch ball games or whatever. It's just because that's what they love to do. So what I'm doing right now is what I love to do. So the man is gone, but not his legacy. So getting 95 years out of the deal, because we kind of thought around his birthday back in July that would be it for him. But he still persisted. And here's a little information about Nelson Mandela. So he went in prison, I believe, when he was 44, 45 years old. So he was already well into his adult life when he went into prison. And he could have walked out of prison anytime he wanted to. All he had to do was name names, and they asked him many a time, you could walk out of prison right now if you disavow violence. If you denounce violence, we will let you go. But why would he do that? When in his mind, he would in turn tell the government of South Africa, why don't you all denounce violence? And then we could, this thing could work. So that's a little bit about him. But I also wanted to talk this about just a moment. The proactive approach to mourning. Anyone have any thoughts about that? Because we're really big about being proactive. Am I right? Anybody have any thoughts what I mean by being proactive with mourning? The thought about this, and if I had access to Nelson, if I had access to Nelson's ear before he passed, I would have said, Nelson, why don't you encourage people to, instead of flowers and candles and things of that sort, why don't you ask the public to donate that money to a cause that you represent, the cause of young people in South Africa? Because South Africa, even though they've had a black president, they still have a lot of issues in South Africa. I mean, black South Africa. And so all this money, all this is just going to be trash. Am I right? It's just going to, bulldozers is going to come in. You're talking about millions of dollars with all this stuff. And that money could have gone to some good use. That's the proactive attitude about war. So I want to.